Welcome back to the Voice of Metal or Voices of Metal. I should just start saying the Voices of Metal because really what it's all about is the people in the bands eventually. And that's what my ultimate goal is going to be. Right now, I'm still just getting some videos out there to get people interested in the channel, to get people to subscribe, to like and subscribe. So if you guys really want to see that, you guys got to promise me that you will do that because I want to have something way more intriguing than just me talking about bands and all this other stuff. I want to know the people behind the music, the things that make them tick, the things that they enjoy, things they love, what possessed them to go in and start playing the instrument that they play, what kind of influences in the bands that they listen to, and maybe even some people that are non-metal artists that have some influences, like Cliff Burton was a classical and musically trained performer. So you would think a guy that plays metal would not have that kind of background, but it's very true. It is part of what I have learned about Cliff Burton. And I'm sure a lot of people that know Cliff Burton know that as well. So as far as I know, that's what makes it so important, right? Um, okay, so you guys know I'm gonna continue with my 92 to 93, kind of some of the top hits. What was rather interesting to kind of compile a list of maybe the top 10 songs because I figured I'd either do a search or maybe even do like something on the artificial intelligence to do that for me to kind of help with that, which is rather interesting. Here I am, I'm putting this in, and I get this list of stuff, and it goes duality. I go duality in '93. I thought they were around in like the 2000s or kind of just right at the very end of the 90s. I think is in like 99 or 98. But duality actually came out in 2004. It looks like so. I guess it's 2004 because I thought, well, I'm pretty sure Duality was on the first album, I believe. But I'm not certain on that. I'd have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure it was. I don't know offhand right now, but it was rather interesting. So I said, oh, by the way, this came out in 2004, and it says, oh, I'm sorry, my bad. It actually just caught its mistake. So I've got two or three different lists of how you say top songs that it came up with. I don't know if these are really the top songs. I mean, I don't know how it's determining these, if it was based off of what was popular by the amount of people listening to it or what it was. So, which I think it's pretty close, but there's one that's kind of interesting. On one list, it has Cemetery Gates from Pantera from 93 was the top song. And on the other list, Walk is the other one. That's one of the top songs, which I might go down through because that's kind of interesting. And then this one, the one I had Walk is number one, is actually has Cemetery Gates as number two. So it's pretty obvious that Cemetery Gates, which I have always loved, and I know somebody else that loves that song so much as well, just like I did. And it's one of those songs, Pantera is known for their heavy, hard hitting, head banging kind of style of music and kind of this so much energy and power behind their music. And it's one of those things that it's unmatched. There's hardly anybody that can match that ferocity in their band because the energy they put out, the power they have behind it, the vocals in it and everything. But this one takes you back to yes, we can sing, yes, we can sound like more of a, I guess you could say, a pop style band, but it's not quite pop style. You can still hear that power behind the actual song itself. And to me, that's what speaks volumes when it comes to any music out there, especially metal. Um, because it takes passion, it takes energy, it takes some effort, it takes a lot. I think that's one of the things that when I listen to music myself personally, and the reason why certain bands have, how you say, got my attention is like if I'm not paying attention to the song or what's on the radio and it just hits me just like that, that's the kind of music that is going to be huge. Because to me, I've listened to quite a few different songs, just listen to them like when I'm working or something or doing stuff around the house and I have my headphones in. And I've tried playing a mixture of new songs for me anyway. They've been around for a while, but I have this YouTube Music has this thing where you explore new music based on other bands. And what sets most songs apart for me, like on the radio or on that, I've heard a lot of these different songs and a lot of them don't resonate with me because it's like if it grabs my attention without me even focusing on it, that is what makes a phenomenal song. If you can do that with anybody, that's what's going to hit hard. That's what's going to make it huge. That's what's going to put your band on the map. So if you don't have that in your band, then you might as well just pretty much play some mediocre songs and maybe you'll have some fans that like your music, but not everybody's going to like your music. I guess there's a difference. I mean, it's still maybe a good song, but there's a difference between a good song and a phenomenal song. And that is what I've been talking about. Like all the bands that I have in my arsenal of bands that I have listened to, the albums that I have liked over the years, the ones that basically made me spend my money, which when I was younger, I didn't have a whole lot of money. I did have a job later on, like at 16, but some of these I bought before that. Sometimes I bought it afterwards, but also I had other things that I wanted to spend my money on, like, cars, dates, and other stuff, going out, things like that. You don't want to waste your money on just music all the time. Plus, also concerts if you're into the concert thing, which I didn't do a whole lot when I was younger, but when I got in my 20s and stuff like that, I definitely went out to more concerts. Um, and I guess that's what I'm trying to say with some of these songs, even right here, right now. Like Roots, Belay Roots, that was one of those songs from Sepultura. I didn't hear that on the radio. See, that's the one thing that if there were more of those songs out there on the radio, some of these bands probably would have been out there and probably gotten a lot bigger. But I guess it's with the timing and their connections possibly and maybe being heard by several people or maybe even a little bit of this word of mouth kind of stuff back in the day that like people told a friend of mine told me about Slipknot, which I didn't know about. That made he actually was a coworker, but he's a good friend too because he talked about metal music all the time. But that's what I'm talking about. Those are the kinds of things that make things what they are, right? When I'm sure that we all resonate with those songs as on a personal level. Roots, Bloody Roots, number 3 in 93 was to me one of the best songs ever. And I got to hear that on Headbangers Ball and it was phenomenal. But I had already listened to Chaos AD and I think when I was listening to him, I heard Chaos AD and I wanted to hear some of the other music later on and I found their later album, so I ended up buying that. I don't think I bought it like at a Target or a Kmart. I had to go to a specialty music store, which I didn't buy that many albums from those places. But the thing is, if you wanted great metal music, yeah, that's where you had to go, especially the ones that were not like Metallica or, Megadeth and stuff like that. So it's rather interesting. One of the other things on the list I saw a Metallica. Oh yeah, it put Enter Sandman as number one on one of these, that's the one where they had duality, which was wrong. As number one, but see on this one it says. See, I know this is not right because these are not like the biggest hits because I mean based on listening. So because it has different ones in different orders on every single one. But some of the ones that I do remember are the ones that are on this list. So I'm going to go through all those. Disposable Heroes by Metallica on one is number four. Rooster by Alice in Chains is number four on the other list. And actually, I agree with that because I think both those songs are phenomenal songs. Alice in Chains is a little more alternative, probably, than it is quite metal, but it's still a pretty good song. And it was back in that time frame and that era. And when you're listening to the radio, that's the bands that were playing. Even though they weren't super heavy, they're more like even Green Day was not that way, but they played on like Kilo, which is a local station here in town. And I think some radio stations back in Kentucky, which actually I was living in Colorado at that time because I graduated in 92. So 93, we moved back out here. Um, it's rather interesting. Now, this one I don't think I remember as well, but I think I do. In the Meantime by Helmet, number five is on one list, and No More Tears from Ozzy Osbourne, which I definitely know No More Tears, which is really cool. Um, Number six on one list is Symphony of Destruction by Megadeth, which that is by far one of my all-time favorite Megadeth songs of all time. Besides, what was it? Endangered Species, Cage Frights. I can't think of the name of the song now. I think it's Endangered Species, but I don't think that's it. But anyway, that one I loved a lot because it's talking about killing off animals and how the battle's unfair between the animals, this, that, and the others. But anyway, Refuse Resist by Sepultura. This one is another favorite of mine. This is the one that grabbed my attention, just like Symphony of Destruction did. Number six. And really, quite frankly, that one still hits hard even today. Even all, well, pretty much all these do. They're still phenomenal songs. Now, the number seven song, yeah, on both lists. Yeah, no, wait a minute. No, number seven on one list is Roots by the Roots. The other list says number seven is actually Raining Blood by Slayer. That one I didn't know as well because I didn't know Slayer as well back then. Because they weren't, well, I had heard some of their music. I'm pretty sure I did on Headbangers Ball, but I probably didn't hit home with me maybe. But I think Raining Blood was one that I actually do remember. I might not have known the band at the time, the name. Because sometimes you don't always catch the names. Let's see, what was it? Number seven. Okay. Symphony of Destruction is number eight on the one list, while the eight is Burn from Deep Purple. That song I've never heard, so I have to check that out, I guess. But I might have heard it and I just didn't realize it from Deep Purple. That's one of those things, if it was on the radio or maybe I didn't catch it, sometimes it might have been playing. I just didn't hear the name. The artist is kind of like Godsmack. Godsmack had like three or four different songs, and I had no idea those songs were all the same band. You think with the vocals that I would know that, but apparently not. And that's my friend John goes, "You do know that's the same people, don't you?" It's like, yeah, I did. Well, yeah, no, not really. So I felt kind of like idiotic at the time, but it wasn't very long afterwards, I guess, because I heard bits. I think some of the songs were quite different. It's like their first album. So I definitely get that. Number nine from the one list, the upper list, is Rusty Cage by Soundgarden. The other list has In the Meantime by Helmet. So that must have been a pretty popular song because it hit both lists. So I guess I'll have to kind of maybe listen to that so I hear or know that song, because I thought I knew it, but I'm not certain if I have, because like I said, the title I might not know the song, but I know the song. I'm Broken by Pantera is number 10 on the upper list, and Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden is number 10 on the other list. Both very good songs. I have always loved Black Hole Sun. I have always liked Soundgarden. I think just like Pantera, they have their unique niche. Soundgarden isn't quite heavy. They're more, I'm not sure how to describe Soundgarden. They're just really good band. They're just got a great sound. It's kind of like some of the other bands that are getting there with heavy, but they got good vocals. Machine Head does that really well, but he also does some very heavy vocals in there when he does, and a very heavy guitar. Where Soundgarden doesn't quite do that, like Spoon Man and all this other stuff. It's more energetic. It's more kind of not quite so deep. It's not so much one of those, feelings of the heart kind of. To me, metal music, that's what it is. It's like getting those frustrations out, getting that bad energy out of your system to let people know how you feel, And really, that's kind of like I'm Broken. That is definitely one of those songs. Black Hole Sun kind of reminds you a little bit of that. It's more of a kind of one of those kind of, I feel sad, I feel upset, but it's still kind of not, grungy, heavy kind of sounding songs. Which, if you had never heard either one of those, go check them out. Especially for the people that are younger, like my son, that don't listen or don't know those bands. I mean, I've heard my son talk about this before and say it again. There's all these different vintage shirts, so they go thrifting and they get the shirts of these bands and they never even check out the music to find out who they are. My son has Inquisition, which I had never heard of, from a shirt, and he started listening to it, and they're really good. They're a phenomenal band. If you ever, I don't even know how old they are, to be honest with you. I haven't done any research on them, but I have listened to some of the songs that they play, and they are really good. I'm assuming they're probably an 80s, 90s band, possibly, but I'm not certain. Based on the art on the shirt and some other stuff, it kind of reminds me of that. Kind of reminds me of like something Tool would do on the thing because it has a geometric pattern. It's kind of, kind of like, I don't know. It's different. So I think that might be part of the album cover that they had, maybe possibly is what I'm guessing for one of their albums. So if you haven't tried Inquisition, check them out. And also don't forget to check out Insulter. Don't forget to check, they're Brazilian. Don't forget to check out the Denver local band, Mind Incision. I had to stop and think about the group. Plus, also, I know Motograder is a local Denver band, I believe. And the lady that I did play the bass in there, I don't know if she's still playing there, is actually in this other band, Mind Incision, too. So go check them out. Purge of the Heretics, definitely recommend those guys. They're phenomenal as well. If I know, there is a metal band that was opening for, like, I think Max and Igor Kevlar, that was a good band. There's like two bands, I believe, and I didn't quite catch their names, unfortunately. There was also a few local bands that were playing in Colorado Springs at the Black Sheep. No, take that back. It's Sunshine Studios. Um, that was a really good couple bands there that started off. They're not quite so heavy. They're more of a, just a good band in general. Oh, Above Snakes was not a local band, but they basically got picked up for the tour because of another band couldn't make it because of certain reasons. I don't know why. But yeah, and I even got to talk to the main singer, so he's a great guy. He's a phenomenal person. It's kind of a rapish, rocky type sound. It kind of reminds me of Hydro the Hero. Hyro the Hero. I want to make sure I say that. I think I said that right. But anyway, he's phenomenal. They opened up for the Butcher Babies back in Greeley when I was there. And what is the other name? I know it. I can't think of it. I'll have to come up with that later. I know the band. The bass player is phenomenal. She is wonderful. And she actually made either Rolling Stones or one of the other. I think it's one of the other metal magazines is like one of the top female black bassists, and they are really good. I can't think of the name. Oh my god, I know what it is. I just can't think of it. But anyway, if I think of the name or I know the name, I will definitely get that to you guys because you guys got to check them out too. They are phenomenal. They got some really good stuff. They're not super heavy. They're kind of like a Soundgarden, but a little bit more heavier than that. But they're more energetic, I guess you could say. There's a lot of different styles of bands. Like I think it's probably a new metal band, I would assume. That's the one thing I'm still kind of trying to make sure I know which one's which. Like Obituary is a death metal. I know that. Some of the other bands I've listened to are more new metal. Like I think Rob Zombie's considered new metal. There's I know I forgot that band's name too. Skinned. Uh, they're an industrial Swedish metal band. They are really good. If you ever check it out, check out Columbine, which hits home because of Colorado. I wasn't in Colorado when I think when that all happened, but I do remember it when I was in. It was like back in like 92, 93 when I was in Kentucky, I believe, somewhere around there. I'm not certain on that, but the song really puts you there. It really does. That's what I'm talking about. The emotions, the feelings, it grabs your attention. It sounds a little weird at first, but the whole point of the weirdness is the sound of the actual vocals kind of replicating the feeling of gunfire, how it kind of makes you feel. And then when you watch the video, it's kind of creepy because it makes you feel like you were there, and you are the victim, and how this person jumps up on the table and they start shooting off the guns while you're underneath there, just a few inches away from this person that could possibly kill you. It's crazy. It's very moving. It's very emotional. It's kind of like all the other bands. To me, that's what metal's about. It's about feelings. It's about family. It's about connection. It's about the unity of family. I think because there's a lot of people out there that I've seen and I've talked to in the Denver area that have brought their own kids there. They're like, there were some that were like probably 8, 9, 10. There was even one guy that had a really young kid. He's probably about 5 or 6 and stuff. And there was even one kid that was doing like this really heavy growling, and it was really cool. I saw it a video. I forgot which band he was singing with when he was doing that, but it was really cool. He sounded just like the guys in the band almost. Not quite, but he's working on it. So maybe, who knows? Maybe we'll see him in the future band, later on down the road. And then I'll say, I know that kid, right? So we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for following. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I'm glad that you guys are still with me. Like I said before, later on, I'm thinking there might be a possibility I might try to do something special to maybe entice people to watch more. They might go, let me find this in the video. Because I'm thinking about doing like a little scavenger hunt of words that I might say. So, and this is why I'm putting this at the end and not the beginning, because you have to find it. And it might be anywhere in the video. Or I might say one thing one point and one point another point and say, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Who knows? Or I might spread it across 3 videos. Who knows? We'll see. I'll see. We'll wait and see what happens. I'm not even sure what I'm going to do yet, but we'll find out. Maybe. And then later on, if it gets bigger and I get some money coming in, maybe, who knows? Maybe, just maybe, we might have a contest for maybe even a festival or something like that. Who knows? You never know. But anyway, just like the channel, without you guys, it won't grow. I'm not going to make any promises to anybody, so so don't hold me to that. But there might be a possibility. I'm thinking about it. I'm definitely thinking about it. I'll probably set that in the interview. What was blank's favorite this, or what was this person's blah, blah, blah. If you know the answers and you're paying attention, you write those down, save them. Then we'll say, okay, these are the things I'm looking for. And if you got all of them right, you know what video it is, you're subscribed, and the timestamp on it. And you can be the first one to provide all that information. Who knows? Maybe you'll be lucky. That's what I'm thinking. That would be a challenge. So at least I know you're paying attention. It's like studying for the test for your exam, right? Anyway, thanks again for watching The Voices of Metal, where we talk about all things metal, or I should say the artists in metal music itself. But we still talk about the music too. because that's what's important. That's what we're all here for. That's what it's all about. But we also want to know the people behind it because that's what our music is. It's about community, it's about family, it's about us together. So, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good night.